pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
I will call this Board of County Commissioners meeting for the Moffett County Commissioners to order on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. The chair would move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Chair would move to approve the consent agenda, items A through N.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. That will move us down to public comment. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to share their thoughts with the commissioners, you'll have 3 minutes to do so. Please come to the stand, state your name, and good morning.
Good morning. You guys are one shy,
Yes.
so it's easy today. Okay. My name is John Williams, resident of Moffett County for 50-some years. I'm here today to continue the call to return Colorado and with it Moffett County to the side of transparent and secure elections. As in the past, our group has made repeated requests to the county to completely do away with any and all electronic voting equipment. That mission has not changed. We all have to understand these machines are in every sense of the word a computer. There's not a computer out there that cannot be hacked, especially one with, at a minimum, components from China, if not flat out Chinese made. These being the very people we cannot trust. Do we find it strange that the U.S. bans social media app TikTok and some cell phones because of security data gathering claims, yet we allow Chinese technology in one of our most basic parts of our freedoms, our vote for the very same freedoms? A quote from Elon Musk, a guy who knows a little bit about computer technology, quote, "We should eliminate electronic voting machines. The risk of being hacked by humans or AI, while small, is still too high." I think the man knows a bit about technology. I believe Elon is being a bit generous. I don't think people understand the value of being able to control some election outcomes. My wife and I were part of the group that helped clean up the mess of the misprinted ballots last election. The group worked hard, and I believe we achieved a successful result. The frosting on the whole process came down to the fact that all those ballots that we redid, we were told not to use that word, but went right to the next station to be fed into a computer with Chinese components and a software set up that, because of its proprietary measures, no one is allowed to see it. A computer with proper programming has the ability to change anything on the ballot. So much for safe and secure and transparent. Then we top that off with the trusted bill. That again, we are not allowed to know what goes on, the proprietary thing again. And if we do see the results and say something, you are persecuted and thrown in prison. That does not fix the problem, but it scares the hell out of every elected official in the state. The word is, sit down, shut up, or this will happen to you. Mission accomplished. Colorado has one of the most unsecure voting systems in the country. When you mail a ballot, many unsolicited, every man, woman, child, and their dog in the state, there exists zero control chain of custody for any of these ballots. Without proper voter ID at the voting booth. Okay, without proper ID at the voting booth, there's no control. It just gets worse. With all of the new AI-related technology coming out, when you register people unsolicited, like the motor voter or whatever it's called, you simply create a database, so-called registered voters, that acts as a pool to be used to pull what is needed to rig an election, and that to add that to hackable computers, and you have a solution for fraud. As near as I can tell, if there is a need to recount, scanned images or ballots are not used. It's the scanned images that are used, not the real ballots. Those are the same machines that did the original ballot. So I'm sure we can see an issue here. How much time do I have, Aaron?
You can finish.
Okay. With all that said, I have 100% confidence in the local people we have. They have just been dealt a bad hand and they have to play it or face the possibility of persecution for speaking out about things that may not make sense. Let me give you an example or two. The pre-test done to certify questionable Chinese component Chinese equipment with the vendor proprietary software, the LAT, the logic and accuracy test, is designed to say to the clerk, good girl, you did the test and everything works perfectly. A test that is 100% controllable by a very simple code a beginner could write. Remember, there are pre-instructions and guidelines to perform the test. The clerk is given the parameters. Same goes for their RLA, the limited list audit. They are given parameters. They have no input. To make it clear, the clerk, maybe the BOCC, are signing off to certify a process that they have zero ability to actually confirm is correct or challenge. To me, that's a liability I would not want to take on. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Anyone else for public comment? Okay. Any general discussion this morning?
Oh, I know.
All right. We'll move on to item number 1. We do have a public hearing today, so we'll get through this pretty quickly. Jeff, are you coming up for these 2 items? So the first is a letter to the Routt County Commissioners regarding,
Sure. Yeah, so as John Carmody and PRM started well permitting in the northeast corner of our county, Routt County chose to weigh in on that and oppose it. And they didn't tell us, they didn't tell PRM, they just wrote a letter with their attorney to the Oil and Gas Commission, what's now called the ECMC, and opposed the drilling in Moffett County. And we are writing a letter. What's in front of you is a letter to Routt County commissioners admonishing them for weighing in on a Moffett County issue without any consultation with us and without understanding the issue completely with a company that we've had a 19-year relationship with. And so it's short and sweet, but does express some deep concern for their actions in our county. And we even offer the opportunity to reciprocate that if we need to.
and this has caused a delay in that hearing as well.
It did, actually. Routt County's letter was cited as one of the reasons to delay the permitting process by the ECMC for 2 weeks. And they did not issue the permit during the first hearing, partially because of the Routt County letter. And so this is writing a letter to the Routt County Commissioners, letting them know that we don't appreciate their activity without any consultation with us in our county.
And this could potentially impact, what was it, 100,000 a year in property tax?
Yeah, if
Is it
once,
estimated?
right now, once the pipeline that Petroleum Resource Management has laid into the ground, over a $10 million pipeline, that'll make the top 30 taxpayer list. They also employ many of our local contractors in Moffett County, and they've contributed to many things within our county, including Boys and Girls Club and other things. And so for 19 years, we've had a very good relationship with the company.
And the landowners have also had good relations.
I'm glad you brought that up. Routt County landowners and Moffett County landowners who are directly impacted by Petroleum Resource Management all wrote letters of support for this permit, while their own county wrote a letter of opposition to it.
Thank you. Do you have anything? Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Would you like me to cover the next one, or do you want to finish this one?
Let's just do them one at a time.
Okay, Chair, I'll make a motion to send a letter to the Routt County Commissioners.
Second, any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and the unfunded state mandates?
The unfunded state mandates letter is a letter that many of the West Slope counties of Colorado are joining together to write a very similar letter to the governor and to the Senate and House. leadership. And the idea is that many laws have been passed recently that are unfunded and create burdens on our counties. I can tell you that Mesa County has documented over $7 million of unfunded mandates for them. And in general, it's a joint letter with all our neighbors on the West Slope to make a statement to the legislature as well as the governor that a lot of these rules are beyond the capability or even the desire of our counties. There are a couple statutes cited just for examples. When I revised the letter that was a joint letter, one of them regarded some law enforcement stuff, and I contacted our sheriff, and his comment was that in his situation, it really was not an unfunded mandate. So we removed that language from this letter just to not have that as an example. But other examples include artificial turf and a lot of unprecedented building and zoning kind of standards. And so I think in general, what this is us joining our West Slope counties in a statement to the Front Range.
Okay. Any questions for Jeff on this one? I know we've reached out to several departments just to see where we're at with the unfunded mandates.
As far as cost to our county,
Yeah, wildland fire, our state, DHS,
yeah,
some of those items.
I can imagine
Working.
DHS would be a big one. It would also be worth mentioning after you've done the vote on this, what we did in the consent agenda with the Browns Park School too.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, you waiting for me? Okay, Chair. I'll make a motion to approve the unfunded mandate letter sent to the governor.
Okay, I'll second. Any further discussion?
No.
All right. Motion carries. And you wanted to?
Just briefly to mention, the last item on the consent agenda that you adopted was a letter to the state director of BLM regarding the Browns Park School. Moffett County's been working for many years to get that school transferred into the local alumni association's hands. And we were told that the most recent thing that needed to be finished by the Bureau of Land Management to get that transfer to happen was an appraisal on the school. We did that in December of 24, and it was a very expensive appraisal. Those federal appraisals are not like a home appraisal. And it cost the county quite a bit of money, near $7,000, a little over $7,000 to do that appraisal. And our concern is BLM and the federal agencies have not moved on that as quickly as they should. And we don't want that appraisal to expire before a transfer happens. And so we are writing our congressmen, senators, as well as the state director of BLM to put priority on that transfer for our alumni association up in Browns Park.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do have a public hearing with planning and zoning at 8:45 and we are at 8:43, so we'll take a short recess. 5. Let the record show that today's public hearings were posted regarding the following: Resolution 2025-73, Amendment to Zoning Regulations, Moral Energy Zone Change R2502, Moral Energy Conditional Use Permit for Battery Storage C2508. Letters were sent to adjacent landowners. Information was posted on the county website. Legal ads were run for the amendment on September 10th and September 17th, and legal ads were run for Morel Energy on August 13th and August 20th. Once the public hearing's been declared open, I will ask Candace Miller, Planning and Zoning Coordinator, to present to the BOCC the request as submitted. Once the presentation is complete, the commissioners may ask questions or make comments. I'll then ask the audience if there's anyone who wants to testify either for or against. Any citizen of Moffat County may testify once the public hearing has been declared and all information has been presented. For those who want to testify, you'll be asked to approach the commissioners, state your name for the record, and you'll be given 3 minutes to present your testimony either for or against. Erin Miller will be the timekeeper today, and she will notify the BOCC and the speaker that 20 seconds remain before your time is up. No decisions will be made during the public hearing. This is an opportunity for any of you to provide testimony in favor or in opposition of the proposed request. The commissioners have the option of asking questions or answering questions related to the topic during the hearing process. Once all testimony has been heard and the public hearing will be declared closed, and we will go back to regular session. I'll then refer back to my fellow commissioner for a decision and on said proposal. All right, I'll now declare this public hearing open. And Candace Miller, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. Okay, so first on the list, Resolution 2025-73, amending the Moffat County Planning and Zoning Regulations. The Planning Board had reviewed this and discussed on July 2nd. Due to the previous applications and concerns surrounding solar, not necessarily solar, but the need to do a zone change for a solar project. So when we have something along the lines of a solar project where you have many thousands of acres of a project site, requiring that to fall under a zone change to heavy industrial was very concerning to a lot of people. And so the board proposed adding solar. You'll see on page 2, number 25, solar, utility scale solar energy project intended to generate and deliver power to a regulated energy provider or grid operator as a conditional use in ag. This will allow us to, ensure that we have a list of conditions with an individual who would have a facility such as this, and that only those uses would be allowed under that conditional use. And once the project comes to an end, that land is still ag. There's no concern of all of the additional uses that fall under heavy industrial, rezoning, so on and so forth. So it is the Planning Board's recommendation to amend Section 410 agricultural under 410.3 conditional uses, adding use number 25 for solar utility.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay. Hearing no questions from the board, I will open this up to public for the public to testify. If anybody would like to testify for or against Resolution 2025-73, amendment to the zoning regulations, now is your opportunity. One more time, if anybody would like to testify for or against Resolution 2025-73. All right, with no public testimony, we'll refer back to, do you want to do all three of them at the end of the public hearing or one at a time? So then we'll close this public hearing and I'll refer back to my fellow commissioner.
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-73, amendment to the zoning regulations.
I'll second that. And then I'll just say, thanks for working on this, Candace. It's good to have an opportunity to do this without flatly changing it to heavy industrial.
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Then we'll go back into public hearing for the Morel Energy Zone Change R2502, and I'll refer back to Candace Miller.
I'm hoping we can change it up a little bit and allow Christy to do her presentation. I think that will flow a lot better. There will be some understanding about kind of the bigger picture of the project. And then I can go into these applications, and then we can have more solid questions once we've seen that presentation. Is that okay?
We can do that. I will close this portion of the public hearing for that. And Christy with Morel Energy, and Aaron has the slideshow up, so.
Yep.
Welcome.
My name is Christy Eichhorn. I'm with Plus Power, and I'm really excited to be here this morning to share with you guys the Morel Energy Storage Project.
Might just pull the microphone for anyone in the audience.
Can you hear me better now? Okay. The Morel Energy Storage Project. I think what I'd like to do is just really briefly touch on who we are and then why we're here, then tell you a little bit about the location we chose and how we plan to move forward with the utility. So Plus Power is an American-owned company. We are headquartered just outside Houston, Texas. We were founded in 2018 by industry experts. We specialize in standalone battery energy storage systems. What does that mean? That means we only focus on batteries. We don't do wind, solar, hydro, geo, just large-scale battery energy storage projects. Next slide. Next slide. We've demonstrated experience. We have 8 projects operating across the United States, with 1 more to come online this year. We've learned a lot with all of these projects about how to keep battery energy storage safe. Safety is our top priority. Every single one of our projects has a safety plan that's managed by experts. Everyone involved, from the engineers to our contractors, follow strict safety standards. They all have certifications such as OSHA 10. The energy storage equipment itself is certified by Underwriters Laboratories, and we partner with local fire departments and emergency management agencies in order to have a comprehensive safety plan. Here in Moffat County, we've reached out to Todd at Moffat County Emergency Management, as well as Craig Rural Fire District, to do some training on batteries all the way from the ones that are in your pocket with your cell phone up to the large scale energy projects that we work on. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so why are we here to talk about batteries? The American energy landscape is changing, and batteries are a tool that help provide grid reliability and resiliency. Batteries act like a sponge. So when there's a lot of extra energy on the grid, the battery will absorb it, take it in when it's most efficient and cost effective for its consumers. Then when the grid needs it during peak demand, it gets released back into the grid, which helps make the grid stronger and more reliable. The Morel Energy Storage Project will continue to anchor Moffat County, and specifically the area around the Craig substation, as a critical energy resource consistent with the Moffat County Federal and State Land Use Plan and the Comprehensive Plan. Next slide. So I've talked already a lot about grid reliability and how it strengthens the grid and how it's cost effective, but how does that really benefit Moffat County? A battery storage project like this represents a significant capital investment, increasing the county's tax base. It will also create a large number of construction jobs during the first 12 to 18 months of construction, and a handful of jobs that will be long-lasting, well-paying jobs in operations and maintenance. Next slide. So there's benefits to the grid, there's benefits to taxes, and there's benefits as it relates to jobs. Whenever you have benefits, there's usually a downside. The one thing about battery energy storage systems, unlike a lot of other energy projects, is that a battery does not generate a lot of traffic. It has no air emissions. It makes very little noise. The batteries themselves do not require any water use, and we use the minimal amount of light that's needed for safety and security on site. Next slide. So specifically for the Morel Energy Storage Project, we chose this location because of its proximity to the Craig Station and the Craig Substation. It's a 200 megawatt project, meaning that it can power for 4 hours tens of thousands of homes. It would be utilized in times of peak demand to make sure that the lights stay on and electricity stays to homes and businesses. In this particular location, you can see we are adjacent to the Craig Station, and we actually diligenced a lot of area around there in order to get as close as possible to the Craig substation, which is where our transmission line would tie in. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we understand that the Craig Station keeps Moffat County as a hub for energy projects, and having a battery in its proximity will help strengthen it at its core and keep the grid reliable at this location. On the left side of your screen, you can see our project. There's a 32-acre area that we will be leasing from the State Land Board. We originally diligenced about 80 acres of property on the State Land Board property, and then as we looked at environmental impacts, transmission line location, possible areas of access, we came to these 32 acres. So we narrowed it down from 80 acres that was offered by the State Land Board down to 32 acres. And again, it's just because it makes the most sense in terms of connection to the existing facilities. Next slide, please. So that was sort of a big picture of why we're here from a transmission standpoint, where we are located in proximity to the Craig Station. This is a sample of what our site plan would look like. I'd like to caveat that slightly in saying that our site plan could change a little. Battery energy storage projects take a long time to build. This particular project, we don't expect to be complete until 2029 or 2030. So the elements that are in this site plan could potentially move around, but what is in this site plan? So on the top part, you can see that we have a stormwater detention cell that will hold all of the stormwater on site. Next, we have rows of batteries, and those batteries look just like this. I think it's really important to note that these batteries are not buildings that you enter. They are containers where you can open a door and look inside and see trays of the battery cells themselves. And then as you go to the southern portion of that site plan, you see our substation and where our transmission line would come out in order to connect to the Craig substation on the tri-state property. I will reiterate again that this site plan could change a little, but some of the things that would absolutely stay the same is that we have a 100-foot setback from property lines, as well as the area that we have leased from the State Land Board. So anything that would need to change in the site plan would happen with the 100-foot setbacks. Next slide, please. This is a side view of what our project would look like if you were inside the gate versus outside the fenced area. You can see on the left-hand side, the substation with the up to 100-foot tall lightning rod and 80-foot tall substation. And then on the right side, you can see where we would have our storage, outdoor storage with a canopy over the top, as well as our operations and maintenance trailer and our battery packs. Next slide. This is what our battery storage units look like at our facility in Hawaii. This is just to give you an idea of scale and generally what they look like. As we progress through the process of development of the Morel Energy Storage Project, these containers could change slightly, but they would generally be looking like this. Next slide. Here's our timeline. As we negotiate a contract with Tri-State, we also have to sign a production lease with the State Land Board before we can even begin to move into construction. We don't anticipate that construction would start until 2028. We are anticipating that our production lease would go to the State Land Board next month in October, and then we would move forward from there. Next slide. This is what we anticipate you would see from Highway 13 looking towards our site with the Craig Station on the right-hand side. So as you can see, due to the topography of the area, our site sits lower, and so it's not visible from many areas of Highway 13. Next slide. This is a rendering of what the site would look like once it gets constructed. Next slide. I did bring a lot of folks with me to help answer any questions that you might have about the Morel project. We can bring them up one at a time, or you can just ask them after Candace gives her part of the presentation.
Okay, thank you. All right, Candace, we'll go back into the public hearing portion of this for your presentation. And then when questions are asked, whoever's the most appropriate, we'll just ask them to come up so we can hear them on the microphone.
Perfect.
Candace?
Okay, you want me to go ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I met with the pre-application meeting on July 10th with Morel to review the project, review all the application. We also coordinated with local agencies to get their feedback on any possible areas of concern, from conservation district to road and bridge, identifying access and haul routes for the project site. So that information, it was very valuable to sit down with our local agencies. The Planning and Zoning Board, we put out the legal ad on the 13th and the 20th and reviewed this at our August meeting. And so the first application is the application for zone change for the battery storage facility, R2502. That is a zone change from from ag to heavy industrial. All of Tri-State, all of the power plant is heavy industrial. So that zoning is appropriate for this type of a facility. The board reviewed we had Morel present at our meeting and answered a lot of the questions and concerns we had in regard to the zone change, the size of the project, and the board voted 3-1 to recommend approval contingent on the following conditions. That once the final location of the project, as Christy had mentioned, that as some time progresses, things might adjust ever so slightly within that 32 acres they have currently under planning lease with the State Land Board. once they go into production lease and they, really solidify the project site, we've asked that a survey be sent over so that we can send that legal description, have that recorded as the area of the zone change. And then also, in the event that the production lease terminates prior to commencement of construction, the applicant or the state land board should notify the county at least 180 days in advance, so that the zone change can revert, so we can get that reverted back to ag. So it is the planning's recommendation to approve the zone change for Morel Energy Storage.
Do you have any questions? Okay. So we don't have any questions right now for you, Candace. I will open this up to the public to testify either for or against, or questions, I suppose. So if anybody would like to testify for or against the zone change, R2502 for Morel Energy, now is your opportunity to come up and speak. Okay, I'll give that call one more time. John, we'll need you up here, please. Thank you.
I would just ask a question. It's always been my understanding that this power plant does not supply power to Craig. It goes into the grid and goes somewhere else. If this ties into the same system, does this system benefit Craig America with power backup and such, or does it just go into the same grid and wander off to California or something?
Okay, thank you.
Don't know. Just a question I think should be answered.
Okay. Yeah, if you have an answer. Yep.
Yeah, so the power, just like at the Craig substation, it does just go back into the grid. It doesn't stay necessarily right here in Moffat County, but the tax dollars from the project will stay here in Moffat County.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anyone else? Morning.
How are you guys?
Good.
Something I want you guys to take into consideration is where they're building this, I'm the drainage below all of it. I realize they say they have secondary containment, sediment ponds, so does Trapper, so does Tri-State, and we still get it. And so not very much work has been put into fire. I mean, the gentleman that was here when we were doing the zone change, I mean, our house is right there. We got sagebrush and wind. He said they engulfed themselves, they let them burn. We all know how our wind is. We all know how the sagebrush is. We got two springs, pond, everything at this location ends up on us. And I realize they got their ponds to the north, but Tri-State, Trapper, we still deal with runoff from them. Our water levels, our sulfur levels, all of our mineral and levels in our pond, even from Tri-State and Trapper at higher levels. Then the state will even allow to make it to the river. From time to time, I have to take Trapper's environmental guys, and they got to make sure that water runoff even from Trapper doesn't make it to the river. And so we are a concentration for anything that may or may not happen. They didn't talk about where they're going to go with this road to make access. You know, they could go to the north, but there's talks of bringing it around the other side. What's the road construction? What's the dust mitigation for when they do start construction? One thing that I've questioned, all of our power plants are shutting down. Why do we need battery storage when there's concerned that we may not have enough energy as it is. Let's wait and see what happens and then build it and see if we need storage. So more than anything for me, you guys, we're the only house right there. We're the only ranch right there. And they say that the visual effect of it isn't that great. For us, it is. And one thing I don't understand is Tri-State has enough ground for this footprint. Why do you need to go get more? Why? This is Tri-State's project. Deal with them. They have the land. And we all know what they've done to Axel Basin. We don't like it. We don't know what this is actually going to look like in the end. But those are questions I have, is how are we going to address this if something happens with runoff with our springs? If we stop water, you guys all know how important water is to us. We don't know what's going to happen. And so that's where we're at with it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Sorry.
Do you guys have any answers to what the questions were?
We did hear Mr. Timmer's concerns at the Planning Commission hearing. And so some of the changes that we have been making since then is looking for alternative locations for access. Originally, our haul route and our access plan came from the south, because when we had a pre-application meeting, that was the direction that the county said might work for us. But we did hear you, Mr. Timmer, and so we are working with CDOT to see if there is an alternative access that we could take from Highway 13. We're also looking at potentially having access north on the newer 107 access from 13. We are trying to take into consideration Mr. Timmer's concerns, CDOT's concerns, Tri-State's concerns, and County Road and Bridges concerns with access to the site. And so we are working on a plan that will definitely give credence to not taking access from the south, as Mr. Timmer mentioned during Planning Commission. I know that he is also concerned about stormwater runoff. We are required to keep all stormwater from our project on site. That is why we have that large detention area on the northern part of the site plan. We will have to have a stormwater protection plan that will have to be approved by outside agencies before we can move forward. We will have to have that both for construction and post-construction, maintaining all of our stormwater on site. In terms of additional water supply, the batteries do not require water for operation. And if there is an incident within one of the batteries, we don't put those out with water. They will consume themselves inside the battery. As we talked about, there's an outside case, there's cases inside. And so we don't get flames from a battery, a utility scale battery like we're proposing.
No, I don't have any other questions, but I do hope that for me, being an elected official, and Mr. Timmer is a citizen of Moffett County here, I hope you do take his concerns serious. And, you know, like he stated, you know, from looking at it from the road, you don't see it, but he sees the location. Mm-hmm. And that's all I have to say for right now.
All right. Anyone else during this portion of the public hearing? Okay. Not hearing anyone else, I will return back to regular session to address Morel Energy Zone Change R2502.
I guess I just want to add one more thing with this. This is just for the zone change that we're going to deal with right now, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. But with this zone change, there's nothing in concrete yet.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'll note what Candace had shared earlier, the zone change from ag to heavy industrial, when the project is completed, returns to ag.
And that's
Anything
that's at any given point of that project. So if the project, prior to 2028 comes to a standstill, that land will be returned back to ag.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yep.
Okay, with that said, Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the zone change R-25-02 for Moral Energy.
Okay, second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now we'll go back into public hearing for Morel Energy Conditional Use Permit Battery Storage C-2508, and I'll refer back to Candace Miller.
Okay. So this conditional use application was reviewed the same meeting with the planning board on September 3rd. We received we had a presentation from Morel that was, I think it was slightly different, but we had a lot of conversation around all of the different concerns. We did have several individuals there express some areas of concern. But the planning board, so in addition to the work that the planning office put into the pre-application meeting, working with our local agencies to identify concerns, we have provided quite a long list of conditions of approval of this application. So the board did vote 3-1 to remove or to approve the conditional use. And then you have a list of conditions. That list of conditions covers all of the different areas of concern. So from administrative and legal agreements and permits, safety and emergency services, environmental and land use, soil conservation, haul route access and road improvements, and decommissioning reclamation, as well as landscaping and visual mitigation. So, and I can go through and read these one by one, but I think I can really just touch on some of those areas of concern. So obviously, the applicant is in a planning lease with the state land board. They are not able to do any type of construction activity until they enter into a production lease. And so with the approved zone change and approved conditional use from the county, they are able to enter into that production lease with the state land board, as well as into the next phases of the offtake from Tri-State. And so one of the requirements is that we need to see, the county would like a copy of the production lease with the state land board to ensure that that has gone to the next step. And then the applicant is to provide regular updates, including communications with local agencies and to the county planning office. And those updates would be recorded in the project file to ensure that the application remains active, because there is quite a big window between approval of a conditional use locally to construction. So as long as we see that there is activity, we can keep that file updated. Obviously, an offtake agreement from Tri-State, so they will provide us that. And then the applicant will submit a finalized haul route and access plan prior to construction. Anywhere that the county is involved, a county road is involved. Obviously, Moffett County Road and Bridge permitting or permits, we need to see copies of those as well. And then any of the state required permits for construction, as Christy mentioned, would be provided for the file as well once they get to that point. They have had conversations, like Christy said, with our local emergency services. And so once they finalize that plan, they will provide us a copy of that. Obviously, their facility must comply with a lot of different state requirements and standards. And then they will continue to do education with our local emergency services, leading up to the project and then even for the life of the project. Dust and erosion control, weed and invasive species management, wildlife grazing plan, and stormwater management plan. So all of the permitting and conversations with other outside agencies in regard to those 3 areas would be provided to the county to keep that file current and up to date, and ensure that they're following all of the rules and regulations before them in a project such as this. Haul route, again, they will work to identify the best location and mitigate any of the potential concerns from whatever that location ends up being. So decommissioning and reclamation, they will have, through their production lease with the state land board, the state land board will dictate what that decommissioning and reclamation looks like, and is a lot more stringent than what the county may impose. So we will support the state land board in how they would like to see that land reclaimed, and ensure that we're on the same page with them and that we have all the documentation that has been completed. And then also, in addition, if the project does not proceed or at the end of its life, the county will work with 180 days notice from the state land board. The county will ensure that parcel of land and the 32 acres or the project site, once identified, will be returned from heavy industrial to ag. And then she covered in her the presentation and the screening and fencing around the battery site. And yeah, so that was our list of conditions. So the board again voted 3-1 to recommend approval with this list of conditions that has been provided to Morel.
Do you have any questions? Okay, we'll go ahead and open this portion up for public comment again, or public testimony again. Anyone who would like to testify for or against the conditional use permit C-2508 for Morel Energy. Now is your opportunity. And again, I'll ask if anybody would like to testify for or against the Morel Energy conditional use permit for battery storage C-2508. Okay. We'll declare that closed and go back to my fellow commissioner.
Make a motion to approve More Energy conditional use permit C-25-08.
Now, second, any further discussion?
The only other thing I got to add again, say it all day long, is I hope as this continue to progress that you make sure Mr. Timber here, since he's the closest neighbor there, to work with him as well as you can. And, be upfront. That's all I can say.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Jake. All right. We'll move on to staff reports, Office of Emergency Management. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. So as you remember, back on August 26th of this year, we had found 7 barrels of automotive paint and waste that were illegally dumped on the north end of Moffett County Road 107, or 103, excuse me. The barrels were rusted and damaged and had begun leaking into the ground near a wetland, but had not impacted the wetland and had left just a very small spot on the ground that we were able to clean up easily. Moffett County Road and Bridge was able to handle the cleanup for us, or at least contain the paint and get it safely stored for now. And then we also had 4 other barrels that had been sitting for some time that we're unsure where that come from, that it's been sitting for so long. So we have to get rid of this automotive paint and at the same time look at getting rid of this oil and water mixture that was left at the County Road and Bridge shop. So I reached out to 3 different companies within Colorado that handle this type of waste disposal. I received 2 bids back, or 2 estimates back, not really bids, as these estimates came in under the limit for the formal bid requirement. So the first estimate came back from Clean Management Environmental, an amount of $15,672.22, and ADCO Environmental for $22,425. HWH Environmental was also contacted, but I have not received a bid from them or an estimate from them. And at this point, we as a county are currently stuck with the responsibility of disposal of this. However, we are still actively investigating the illegal dumping of those 7 barrels, and I've gotten some pretty good information on it and are pursuing that at this time. So I'm making a recommendation that the county accept the quote from Clean Management Environmental in the amount of $15,672.22. Again, this is an estimate, but at my last conversation with him was that it would be within 10 to 15% of that quote.
And this is all still sitting in the dump trailer?
Yes.
And how soon do you think they can get that?
If we can get this approved, then we can hopefully have this out of here in about 10, 12 days. They will have to bring in some overpacked drums to seal the damaged barrels. And that's another reason I recommend Clean Management, as they will take care of that for us. We will just have to set them into the overpacks. ADCO required us to purchase the barrels, the overpack barrels on top of that, which would have substantially increased the cost.
Okay. All right. And there was a cost in-house as well for this already.
There's a cost in-house as well, and there will be a slight more in cost as we package those barrels up from within the county with Road and Bridge and the Sheriff's Office and the emergency management side of things. And again, the 4 barrels, we don't know where those come from. I wish we did, but the 7 barrels, we have a good idea where they came from. We're actively investigating that. And if we can prove beyond reasonable doubt that that's where they did come from, then we will seek restitution on that.
Thank you. Any other questions for Todd? Okay.
Chair, I'll make a motion to go with the recommended bid to Clean Management Environmental in the amount of $15,672.22.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Keep us posted. And now we have a presentation from the Senior Social Center, Rebecca Greenwood, program updates. Good morning.
Good morning. Rebecca Greenwood, Executive Director of the Senior Social Center. I just appreciate you letting us come and just give you some updates and just kind of celebrate the Senior Social Center and the work that we do. So, you're familiar with us because we've been here before, but I just, first off, just wanted to thank you for your support last year or this year to help us with our rent. It just was such a blessing to just kind of have that burden taken off and know that we had that support and that security this year. And it'll probably go up a little bit starting January, $1,200, but is what I'm expecting. But this year, it was just nice to have that funding that I could use for other programming and for just furthering our mission and helping more people. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. And the Senior Social Center is, just all about connections, and it's where people connect. You could go ahead and go to a couple slides probably. Thanks. So we connect to our different things in our lives, to community, volunteerism, just really a place to engage and to find help and to find belonging. We have so many activities going on. We have the fullest calendar of all of the other senior centers around the area that I talk to and connect with. And so we have something going on all the time, whether it's playing a game or coffee, going swimming, working out in the gym, taking classes. We have a lot of classes: art, cooking, sewing, music. Music is really fun. Our music group went to Sandrock twice in the last couple of months, and those residents just really enjoyed that collective group. It started out as a guitar playing, like learning chords, but the first day a ukulele player and a accordion player showed up. So it's very eclectic, but really fun, and they just really enjoy it. We help with tax prep, dancing, yoga, rock hounding. We have a really active board. Our board members should stand up that are in here. We have Kathy, we have Janelle, we have Karen, which is our newest. We have Dale, and we have Lois here today with us. And it's just so nice to have enthusiasm and excitement from our board members and participation. And I'm very thankful for them. I also have a really great staff, and we have a pretty large staff. A lot of them are part-time. I was able to make Kristen, our resource navigator, a full-time position this year, which is so needed. I'll talk a little bit more about that program in a little while, but Kristen Sharansky she's my left-hand girl because she's left-handed. But she's just really appreciated, and I'm thankful for her. The organization, it doesn't seem like it could be that long, but it's been 11 years already that we've been funded. Sorry, I didn't tell you when to move forward. There you go. All right. So, and we serve a lot of people. As far as unique clients, we have about 776 on our list for 2024. But we do sign-in sheets. So we had 8,278 actually sign in for a class or activity. And not everybody likes to sign in, so that doesn't even capture everybody. So it's just great to have that. And we've really grown financially. And we built security over the last 5 years. The budget for 2020 was actually 67,206, and our newest budget is at $256,894.21. So with that growth, we have services and programming for our older adults in our community. And I'm very fiscally responsible. I don't like to waste money. So while growing pretty quickly, we have been conservative in the way that we spend funds and want to make sure that there's security and that the programs can last. So I think that's super important. And then, so as far as our funding goes, we're primarily funded by the Area Agency of Aging of Northwest Colorado. We call them AAA, which confuses people, but, and then about 40% of our funding is actually for our Medicare SHIP program, which is a massive part of our program. We serve so many people, and for our little per capita, we're the busiest in the state. So we're really lucky to have that program for our community. We consistently have been granted funds from Yampa Valley Community Foundation, the Yampa Valley Electric program, the Sitting County HRC, which has been a blessing, and CHAFA has been funding us the last couple of years, and then different opportunities arise. One of the reasons why we have a larger budget this year is that Next 50 granted us $50,000 for our resource navigator program. So that's just been a real blessing. Their primarily mission is to focus on older adults and helping people live more active, independent, and financially secure lives. And so it's been a blessing to have that. Anschutz also was a funder this year, and a new grantee, the Simmons Foundation. And then Moffat County, you contributed $14,400 towards our rent this year. And that was actually unexpected and just made such a difference. And I really appreciate that. We also get donations. When people come in, they put, some money in the box. That actually usually helps us make our match for our AAA program. But you're not required to pay. Like, membership is $15 for a year, but nobody's turned away. We have scholarships and we want everybody. And there's a lot of age groups. It's not just someone 65 and older. We have members that are teens, 20s, 30s, so we just love everybody to come and fellowship and connect with us. It's kind of just a little splash of some of the stuff that we do and some fun pictures. But next is our Medicare SHIP program. We served in their last fiscal year, which ends in March. It runs from April to March. We served unique clients of 687 clients, and that doesn't include the multiple times they come in. So there's a lot of that. And there is a state recommended what they want our target to be, and we've over quadrupled that. And so we've just word of mouth is good. When you help people, more people come for help. So that's kind of the biggest way we've been growing. And we also, I'm the coordinator for Rio Blanco County, so we also serve Rio Blanco County. It's not quite as busy, but it does well, and they meet their quotas too. So, we meet our quotas for them, I guess. And so it's just a way for people to save money, help navigate Medicare, and understand how to do that process, because it's very complicated. I mean, we have doctors, we've had lawyers, we've had people in the medical field come in and get help, because it's just such a cumbersome process. And then a lot of people come in that have problems, like they need to do an appeal, or there's an issue with their coverage. So we help everyone, and then also help them like qualify for DHS, for Medicare savings programs, things like that. Our senior outreach program is just so vital. It's just a way to connect with homebound seniors. We have about 76 on the list right now. They go visit them in their homes. They do phone calls. They send cards, and then we do go to some facilities sometime. We have volunteers, and we have a part-time staff person for that position. I did recently have someone come and shadow that group, and they said that they were going to recommend to all the anybody on the city council or the commissioners to come and to do that shadow for the day. It's just such a eye-opening experience to really see that impact of how much need there is, how much need that people have. And it's just really a blessing to have that program. And we are growing with our numbers that we serve all the time. And one time over the last year, it seemed like there was about 2 months period where it was just bang, bang, bang issues. As an example, we had someone they went to check on that that was an emergency need, and they ended up taking to urgent care. A week later, someone went to the hospital. Just, I think 2 weeks after that, they found somebody unresponsive and had to call. I mean, that's extreme, condition, but it is stuff that happens. And it's also a way to just get eyes on somebody and kind of, you connect with them off and on through the month, so you can kind of see if things are changing. And you also see their need. Maybe they need some referral for some home repairs. Maybe they need some services, some in-home care. Maybe they need some food, maybe it's food insecurities. And so it's a way to kind of just get that visual and see what those people need. And just fellowship. And then our Resource Navigator program, it started out at just like a little 5-hour position, and I just saw the need and keep trying to fight for funding for it. And it's been growing. And like I said, Kristen is now full-time. And it's just a way for somebody to sit down with you and look at your overall picture and see what needs you might have and try to plug those needs, whether it's connecting with another organization like NWCCI to get transportation or to get some handrails put into your home, or if it's through respite care where the caregiver needs some support and needs to go get their hair done or go have lunch with somebody or go do their own medical appointment. You know, there's funding for those kind of things, or to sign up for LEAP to help them be more financially secure, you know, help their heating or whatever it needs. It's just sitting down and like really figuring that out. And we did just hire a new staff person. Her name is Patty, and she's bilingual. She's Spanish speaking. It's just a part-time position on a kind of a part-time grant for the year. To kind of reach out to some of that demographics. We've had a lot of like legal residents have been here for 20 years and are now retiring and figuring out how to navigate that that dynamic and, you know, what they qualify for, what they don't. And so having somebody that can relay and translate for us is really great, but she won't only work with Spanish speaking, but it'll be whoever is in need. But we also are been working on doing more programming. So we just had our community fiesta where we just were reaching out to that demographic and letting everyone know that we're available for everyone that wants to come and fellowship with us. So our Circle Talk program, Janelle is our coordinator for that. She's our board member, and it's just been a vital program. We want it to grow and we want to serve more people, but it's just a way to kind of talk about mental health and to address and to fight isolation and just to connect with people, build friendships. And it's a evidence-based program, and we've been implementing that the last 2 years. And then our resource provider meetings, we have quarterly meetings, and we have a lot of participants. You can see there, our partners come together, and I think it's really helped them too, like learn about each other independently of the Senior Social Center, to know what services are available, what they have, what can help, how they can help each other. And our referrals go way up and their referrals go way up. So anybody that provides any kind of services to older adults can attend, and usually we have a special speaker. And then from that, we came up with the Resource Expo. And so with that Resource Expo, the last couple of years, we've been able to have about 20 some vendors that we have, basically kind of like a health fair, that come in, set up, and we send out information. And we've been running about 70 or 80 participants that come in and walk through and get resources and find out what's available. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for all the different nonprofits that might serve an older adult in some fashion, in some way. So it's been really successful. Actually, the vendors or the organizations, I think they've enjoyed it as much as the participants, because they get to learn about each other more and to find new connections and new referrals. So it's been good. And then our wine tasting and our charcuterie boards and our fine art, that is all part of our Better with Age art show and wine tasting. It's this Saturday. Tickets are only $25. It's a great deal. You get a lot of great food. We have live music. It's our only fundraiser. So if you'd like to participate, we would love for you to come. I probably could even find you some tickets. And but it's 6 o'clock this Saturday. One of the other things that we've done over the last couple of years is our spa day, and that's been really positive and fun. We've the CNCC comes in with their group, and they get some of their manicures and their facials done, but it's a way to serve the clients. And we usually have massage and haircuts, and our massage person got sick this year, so we have to reschedule her part. But it's a really fun event that we do. And then we also do, other events throughout the year. We have cooking classes, we have games on the grass, lunch on the lawn. Our regional picnic, that was actually just from last week. Aaron got us scheduled for the Loudy Simpson, and we had about 100 people attend that event. And it was people from all over the region. We even had people from Rand, Colorado, Walden, come and just hang out and connect with us. And we reach out to, and Steamboat came, Meeker, usually Rangeley does, but they didn't make it this time. I've been pushing Bags. If you guys got a connection to Bags, I need to get the bus driver's home number because I'm struggling with getting participation with them, but we would love to have them too. So it's just kind of a fun way to make connection, and that's part of what we're doing there. And then we do have monthly meals, and so we have our potlucks, and we kind of celebrate people's birthdays the second Tuesday of the month. The third Tuesday, we have lunch and learn, and we provide the food. That's our fundraiser, the wine tasting. Most of our grants don't include food, and so this is a way for us to have some funding to feed our people. and some of them, bring food too for different things. So, and then we have a great art class. We have a really good artist in that group, but then also some that are brand new, and we're always looking for new instructors. I actually have some lined up now. I'm excited. And then, we also do fun stuff like tie-dye or rock, rock painting, different crafts, stuff like that. And then we have a great outside space. If you haven't seen it lately, you should come by before it freezes because we have a lot of pretty flowers in the patio in the cornhole area. And our garden itself is doing really well. I'm just hoping we're going to make it before the frost, but we might have to pull those tomatoes when they're green, but it's getting closer. And it's also been a great way to interact with youth and with volunteerism. Every year we have Rocky Mountain Youth Corps come, and they usually spend the first, if you want to go to one more slide, they usually spend the first day with us in the garden and help us kind of prep and get stuff ready. And then they go to seniors' homes, and they do mow lawns, pull weeds, things like that. We need even more of that. We're working on a volunteer list too. And then the Boys and Girls Club has came and done the same. They've also came and played cards with our members, and that's been a great way to connect. One specific gentleman that plays cribbage on Fridays. He's never had kids, and he thought he was no good with kids, and that he was kind of uncomfortable with the idea of them coming. And he helped a couple of the kids learn to play cribbage, and he just had such a great time. And it was just such a new, exciting experience. And the girls, like, they were so excited to come back and play the next week with him. And it's just a great way to connect. We also have a lot of Horizons clients come and use our facilities. They usually come on Wednesdays while Wellness Wednesday is happening over at the Catholic Church. And they also usually come Fridays. So it's just a way that they can use the gym, and then they usually have lunch there and just hang out. And then we have a strong partnership with Northwest Colorado Health. They do a lot of our wellness classes. They do Jerry Fit, movement and exercise. We just started Tai Chi, and Kristen's actually teaching that. And through our partnership with them, we also have the wellness nurse come to our potlucks, and she checks for cardiovascular health. So does blood pressures and all of that. And then they also do some special stuff sometime, like we had the healthy heart class, and we just do different things different times. Chair yoga, I recommend anybody comes that wants to. It's really fun. Everybody has a great time. It's pretty laid back. You don't have to get on the floor and get back up, but it's there's a lot of movement, and you're gonna feel little things, the next day. So, but that's one of our very most popular classes, and one of our board members, Stephanie Etzler, provides that for us, and she does a great job. People want to swim. They want a sports complex, but they really love swimming. That's one of my big requests. And so we don't have our own transportation, so we pay for some transportation through partnership with the city. We use their bus, and then I pay a driver. We did 19 trips last year, and then that one gets a little expensive. So we have NWCCI doing Thursdays for us, and we did 21 trips last year. And they provide the driver, but we do pay for miles. And so we have a good group, and boy, they're already asking me like if we can start early all the time. So it's actually kind of one of the most expensive programs. And then we have a wonderful full gym. It's a really nice gym. We have 3 pretty new equipments. We have a great treadmill. We have 3 treadmills, but we have a great one that you can pretend like you're going through Europe or, doing whatever, and along with a bike. We also have a reciprocating machine that people use for rehab. Memorial Regional Health sends their clients to us after they are out of PT appointments to continue their services. And that's been a way that we've connected. Like we had somebody that had some heart condition and was doing rehab, and then they came and started doing work in our gym, and then they connected with some people, and then they became a regular on Thursday game day, so it's just even coming in just for the gym can help people, get out of their isolation and connect with people. So that's all I have for you. I appreciate you letting us come and celebrate. Any of our board members or Krista want to say anything? Okay.
Just say that, thank you so much for your support. It's really been a short 11 years, but it's worked really well, and we're so thrilled about that. And it's a great place for anybody to socialize.
Mm-hmm.
It's utilizing that huge new that huge old building, and that's preserving it. So thank you for your support. You should come to the wine tasting. It is a lot of fun. The food is always really good.
Yep. I did remember, I just forgot one program just real quick. We're expanding our senior outreach and our resource program to do some home modification and services. So we do have a little bit of funding to help people. Whenever we can, we'll plug them into a different program so we can utilize volunteers or other funding. But we do have some funding to fix a toilet or water heater we've just did recently and things like that too. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the update, and I hope that this program is around. I'm not there yet, but
He's
Well,
over
hope
50.
someday when
Like I'm
that
saying, we like all ages.
program is still around. But
Yeah.
yeah, I am a firm believer in we'd have a better world if we took care of our kids and our seniors and our veterans. But thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we are adjourned.